Hello, Self Sisters. Welcome to another episode of the Whole Self Sister Channels, a place for you to be healed and whole. I am Rahil and I'm on a journey of self discovery. So, if you are on a similar journey and you don't want to do it alone, let's do it together. Press the subscribe button so we can be friends. So, in the beginning of my self discovery journey and when I just started doing inner work and shadow work, I noticed something that there is a great resistance to the ego. So, and this is not just in, self discovery groups or self knowledge groups, but also I noticed this to be prevalent also in society at large, where they would say that a person is acting out from their ego and that our purpose was to transcend the ego. However, from my experience, I noticed that the ego is actually playing an important part. And what people actually refer to as acting out from the ego is actually the negative expression of the ego itself. So when the ego did not have the right environment for it to develop and to thrive, it is now focused on surviving. And they are on this survival mode, which means that there will be, of course, self-centered. They will not be concerned with the consequences of their action, and they will think of everything that they do in as a zero-sum game strategy. And from there, because what I understood is that if we are to heal and if we are to transform and transmute and our shadow, and when we purify ourselves, then our ego will have the kind of development and maturity that it needs and it's required for it to function well in society. And only then will our ego be able to express itself in a positive way. And by positive expression of the ego, what I mean is that you have a strong personality. By strong, I mean that a personality that is rooted in your core. It is based on your authentic expression, and it's not based on how people see you or perceive you, or how you want to be viewed or viewed by certain people or certain groups, or what is the norm at the time. But it is actually rooted in your own values and how you want your life to be, in your purpose. And I see that as the positive expression of the ego. So I would say that when people associate negative traits to ego, to the ego, that the person expressing those things is actually immature in terms of their ego development. So it could be that they didn't have the suitable environment for them to thrive. Maybe they had too critical of parents. Maybe they just lived in conditions where survival was the main concern. It was not connection, and therefore they were not able to thrive. They were not able to think of win-win solutions because maybe they faced too much betrayal, or there was no sense of trust. There was no sense of support. They didn't receive it in early on in their lives. So this leads me to the reason why we have the superego and the ID, as I mentioned in the previous video, that Freud in his theory stated that our psyche consists of these three systems: the conscious, which is the ego or the personality. It's the part that we associate with. And then there is the superego, which is the pre-conscious. It is the place where you get this moral sense of needing to do or be certain things. And then there's the ID where your shadow lies, where you have all those traits of you, those parts of you that you were probably unable to express, whether because they were unaccepted or because you yourself are just unaware of them. And therefore, when you are unable to transmute your shadow into an integrated part of yourself, then you would feel a disconnect inside. You would feel that there is a void where you are unable to understand where your actual motivations are coming from. And when you are always triggered by other people, by situations in your life, and I see triggers as windows to our shadows, because through our triggers, we are able to see where we are actually wounded, where we need healing, where we need attention, and where we need compassion. So I see that, what I see is that when we are unable to look at our shadows and admit that we have them, admit that we are expressing our shadows unconsciously, or we are expressing them in negative ways, this will also affect the expression of our personality. It's like when you feel some people are whole, some people are very deeply rooted to their sense of self, they are authentic. And while some other people might do the same things, say the same things, and live similar lives, but you would feel that there is a disconnect between what they say, what they do, and who they actually are. And this is probably because they're trying to put on a personality that is based on the external environment, based on what society told them was acceptable, or what they themselves believe that they need to be like that. So they might be working a job that they don't really like just because they believe that they need to become, a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or anything like that to gain recognition, status, and acceptance. But it's not rooted in a deep desire for that, for service, or for expanding knowledge in that field, let's say. And so in here, when I see, or when I look at people who we judge as being as acting out of their ego, I would always think or refer to what needs they have that were not fulfilled, what lies in their shadow that is preventing them from expressing a more positive side of their personality. And what I notice is that it's always rooted in fear. So all the decisions that you make are either rooted in fear or in peace. By fear, it means that you are trying to avoid certain loss, whether it's loss of connection, loss of acceptance, loss of a certain status. So you're always in fear. However, when you are taking decision out of peace, this means that you are able to make decisions that you are accountable for. These are decisions that are rooted in your authentic expression. And from here, I would say that understanding your shadow is very important, because otherwise you will not be able to express yourself in a positive way. Your shadow is, when you acknowledge them, when you transmute them, when you purify them, then you will be able to find parts of yourself that probably you were looking for in the outside world. You were looking for in how other people were valuing you, and how much status you can get out of that. So with this, I end this episode. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very wholesome day.